everybody. It's nighttime where I am in this moment. So I'm going to do the evening voice and call this good evening, everybody. It's Lights Out with Lisa. And this evening we're reading your bedtime story from a reading in the language of letting go by Melody Beattie. It's me, LisaT, coming at you, right? Compared to good evening, it's Lights Out with Lisa. Okay, so we are reading May 9th. Let's see. Yes, May 9th. Okay, so time to put on the evening specs because we're going to be doing a little nighttime reading. Okay, so we're reading May 9th. Learning new behaviors. Sometimes we'll take a few steps backwards. That's okay. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's part of going forward. Sometimes it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. 5 steps forward, 3 steps back. But guess what? You're always going forward. You're still going forward. So, life is a gentle teacher. She wants to help us learn. I love they finally put a she instead of like he, as in like God is always referred to as a he. She wants to help us learn. So life is a teacher. Life is a gentle teacher. She wants to help us learn. The lessons she wants to teach us are the ones we need to learn. So the lessons that we're being taught are the ones we need to learn. I know that. Do you know that? I for sure know that. I didn't used to know that. I thought everything was happening to me. I didn't realize everything was happening for me. They're all lessons we need to learn, to become better, to become more open, to become more healed, to become more recovered, to become our better selves, to become more on track for our purpose and a better, more beautiful life. We've got to learn how to do that. We can't just ride a bike, even though riding a bike is awesome and it gets us somewhere as a kid. It's like the new freedom, but you got to learn how to ride the bike. You can't just learn to be a massage or become, you can't just be a massage therapist. You got to learn how to be one. You can't just say, I'm going to be an engineer today. You've got to learn how to do those things. And the better you learn how to do it, the better you become at those things, right? Well, it's the same with life. Okay, so the lessons she wants to teach us are the ones we need to learn. Some say that they are the lessons we choose to learn before we were born. That's a whole other topic. Others say they are the lessons that were chosen for us. I've never heard that, but definitely heard that it's ones I've chosen to learn before I got here. Okay, so it's frustrating to be in the midst of learning. Sometimes it can be frustrating. It's like, I know for myself, so I'm a tough nut to crack, right? People, I'm nutty, right? So I'm a tough nut to crack. And yeah, I have to learn. So I'm a tough nut to crack. So I have to learn lessons over and over and over. In the past, for sure, I'm getting better these days at learning it once and moving forward. But in the past, there's been many lessons where there were certain lessons where I had to learn over and over and over and over and over until it I got it. Why did I go on that? Oh, that some of the lessons that we're supposed to learn. Yeah, so that I've chosen to learn. So that's, I think there's, I don't know, there's got to be a pathway. There's got to be less certain, there's got to be a guideline to, if you want to do this, or you want to become this, or you want to become enlightened, or you want to become a spiritual guru, or you want to, what you want to do in the course of your life. There's got to be some sort of, this is what needs to be learned to get there. So yeah, maybe we have chosen those lessons before, unconsciously, so, whatever. I don't know where I went with that one. Bear with me. Okay. So some say they were the lessons that we chose to learn before we were born, and others say they're the lessons that were chosen for us. It's frustrating to be in the midst of learning. It's like sitting in algebra class, listening to the teacher explain a subject beyond your comprehension. It's tough. Have you ever sat in a class, or can you remember moments? I can't. Well, I was pretty smart in school, so I really I'm really focused and digging, and I'm keen to understand. So I'll ask questions a lot because I want understanding. So I can't really relate to something that was being explained to me that was beyond my comprehension, but I can relate to people telling me things like, oh, you're going to feel this way, or you need to do this so that can be done with, or like, sir, I don't want to give specific example because I don't want to talk about my personal stuff too much. Yeah, I know that there's been people have told me that something needs, and I couldn't understand what they, like, I couldn't understand how that could be true. Okay, loving myself, for instance, people say when you learn to love yourself, you won't need this and you won't need that so much. I'm like, what are you talking about? Of course I'm going to need this and I'm going to need that. Like, but they were right. The more I started to love myself, the less I needed to grasp for this thing and grasp for that thing, because I started to get stuff from within here. So that I can relate to. It was beyond my comprehension before how much self-love would improve my ability to be strong and not reach for things to gain strength and happiness and feel okay in self-worth and self-love and all those things. Blah, 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 blah. So it is like sitting in algebra class, listening to the teacher explain a subject beyond our comprehensions. We do not understand, but the teacher takes the understanding for granted. Right, the person who understands, so it's like a second nature. So like it was like the body. Once I learned about the body, it's hard for me to go back and remember what it's like to not know. Like it's hard to remember what it was like to not tie your or to not know how to tie your shoes. It's hard to know what it was when you didn't know how to walk. Right? Once we've learned it, we can't go back. You can't understand how someone can't grasp it. It's like just put one foot in front of the other. Right? Like just walk. But someone who's never walked before, it's beyond their comprehension because they've never done it. But the teacher just takes it for granted. So once you already know it, you kind of take it for granted. It becomes second nature. Okay? Got it? So it may feel like someone is tutoring us with messages that we shall never understand. So you're like, oh God, I'm never going to get this. We strain and we strain. We become angry and frustrated, confused. What are they talking about? I don't understand. I'm never going to get this. We become angry, frustrated, confused. Finally, in despair, we turn away, deciding that formula will never be available to our mind. So that's you might close your mind and go, you know what? Forget it. I'm never going to get this. Something good is coming here. Later, while taking a quiet walk, we break through. Quietly, the gift of understanding has reached that deepest place within us. It's like you're walking and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Or you're doing something else and you're like, oh, I get it now. It all of a sudden like clicks for you, right? That's what they're talking about here. So later, while taking a quiet walk, we break through. So it's kind of like when you let go, when you're in the lesson and you're trying to learn and you're listening so intently and you're like, oh, I just don't understand. But you're trying too hard almost. So then you let it go, you walk, you go for a walk, you get some quiet time, and then it clicks. So later, while taking a walk, we break through. Quietly, the gift of understanding has reached that deepest place within us. We understand. We have learned. The next day in class, it's hard for us to imagine not knowing. Like what I was talking about. Once you know, you're like, how did I not know that? Yeah, it's just so like common knowledge now. So it is hard to remember the frustration and confusion of those who have not yet caught on. It seems so easy now. So this is just basically going back and forth between someone who gets it and someone who doesn't. Someone who's trying to teach it to someone else, and the frustration that can come between those two worlds. So it seems so easy. Now, life is a gentle teacher. She will keep repeating the lesson until we learn. Gentle and patient, I would say. That's patience. She will keep repeating. Life will keep repeating the lesson until we learn. It is okay to become frustrated, confused, and angry. Sometimes it's okay to even despair. And then it is okay to walk away and allow the breakthrough to come. It will come if you never give up. It shall. Help remember that frustration. Okay, so here's the verb. Help me remember. Whew, I got revved up there. Okay, ready? Help me remember that frustration and confusion usually precede growth. If my situation is challenging me, it is because I am learning something new, rising to a higher level of understanding. Help me be grateful, even in my frustration, that life is an exciting progression of lessons. Ooh, that's a good prayer. Remember that frustration and confusion usually precede growth. Aha! Just even hearing that, as I was in some frustration and confusion this last couple of days, I've been torturing myself with something, but I know there's a higher lesson in it. I know there's good that's going to come from it. So I'm just going to trust that this confusion and this frustration is the precipice to the growth. Wow. That was a lot. I hope I made sense to you all. I feel like I went off on tangents everywhere. Anyways, I appreciate you all. I love you. Thanks for watching. Sweet dreams. And that's lights out.